Welcome to Das Boat, Season 3. If you watched the first 2 seasons, you know what this is all about. We find an old boat, something cheap with scars in history, then pass it around to the most interesting and brave anglers we know and explore some of the country's most unique fisheries. I'm Joe Cermele, and I'm taking over this show from my boss, Stephen Ranella, this season. Now, I've fished all over the world, but I cut my teeth as an angler here in the Northeast. My mission sounded simple, at least on paper. Find a boat with genuine craftsmanship and intrinsic value, and get it seaworthy in a month so it could hit the road while all the best Northeast fisheries were in full swing. There's so many levels of used boat at the Jersey Shore, right? There's boat yards full of these things. There's so many in backyards, and you know it's out there somewhere.
I've never seen a center console when they put them cooler seats in.
It's got some crunch.
It may not look like much, but this 1973 center console Mako is a classic, man.
Oh, let's see what we got here, man.
Its bones are good, even if the deck is rotten, the electrical's shot, and it just needs like a ridiculous amount of work before we can put it on the water.
This boat has no idea how lucky it is. Not only is it getting redecked, but like this thing's been sitting for God knows how long, and now it's going to go on one hell of an adventure.
Gone under the boat.
I can't even believe that just happened.
That's what I've been waiting for. There we go.
Bigger boat, bigger challenges, bigger water, same bad ideas. This is Das Boat Northeast. See these boats here? They're powerhouses, capable of reaching distant fishing grounds in safety and luxury comfort. Like, drink a White Claw in 6-foot rollers kind of comfort. See our boat there on the left? It doesn't even have a cup holder. But back in the day, little Makos like this routinely carried Northeast anglers to the giant tuna grounds and through the slop of striper season with nothing but a compass. I'm in Keyport, New Jersey for the inaugural voyage of Das Boat 3.0. But before that happens, I have to introduce you to my old pal and trusted consigliere, Captain Frank Crescitelli. Frank's a Staten Island native, veteran fishing guide, but most importantly, he knows boats. Now, I've run my share of boats, but when it comes to fixing them up, I'm kind of worthless. And with just a couple months to find a boat and get her seaworthy, I knew I needed Frank. He's our fixer, you could say. The one keeping everything from spiraling out of control. Frank and I spent weeks sifting through the sparse inventory that fit our meager budget in boatyards and backyards all over the Jersey Shore. Used boats this year are kind of like toilet paper was last year. Damn near impossible to find.
Might be a little too much on that one, right?
And this one's Rogue. This one here is called Top Priority.
But ultimately, Facebook, the bastion of modern America, led us to a yard in Delaware where we met John and laid eyes on his extremely rough 73 Mako.
Did we not just say that these things tend to spiral?
Had it been in his family for generations? Did he remember catching his first striper on it as a wee lad? No, the history wasn't that rich, to tell you the truth.
I traded this boat for a log splitter. Actually.
Frank and I were torn.
It's like right on the edge.
How many boats you guys look at today?
The boat was exactly what we envisioned.
In terms of look and what we need, like it's it.
The problems this boat had, like soggy stringers and a mushy deck,
Snap, crackle, and pop.
are all common with boats this age and all fixable. But would we be able to whip her into shape on a tight budget and short deadline, or would we just be better off setting sail on a log splitter?
At some point, you just got to make the call. Das Boat, Season 3. Big boat.
What a boat!
Huge kind of boat.
I never knew how valuable log splitters were, but people seem to be very interested in log splitters.
Sometimes guardian angels come in odd forms, like the badass team of fiberglass guys at JJ Boatworks in Atlantic City. They took pity on us and basically dropped everything to redeck our rig and put in a new gas tank. Frank did put a working motor on, but we're still nowhere near ready to fish, which is why I called my boy Ryan Callaghan. And I promised that if he helped, I'd give him a crash course on striper fishing in the state of my birth.
Welcome.
How you doing?
This is it, huh?
Yep.
Love it. How's it going?
Frank, nice to meet you, man.
It's good timing on your part because somebody has to go under there. And
Two big guys were like, maybe if we had a nice trim guy.
Hey, if you guys know where the fish are at, I'm here to work.
Okay.
It seems like an even trade.
All right, I like that.
What type of boat is this?
So this is a classic Mako, dude. This is like the saltwater fishing in the Northeast. It was every man's boat, right?
Yep.
I mean, an affordable, hardcore. I mean, this thing is 30 years old. It's still solid as a rock.
what's cool is even though they still make these, right, the dudes want the old ones for
Right.
restoration projects.
There's
I mean,
a
stuff was
variety.
just built better, built different back in the day. And, you know, we were worried we weren't even going to be able to find a boat to fit the bill. So you know, we have not floated it yet. It hasn't touched water.
So in theory,
We'll be good after the electronics.
nice.
That's
We'll
something
know
I'm
how
not-
deep it is as it sinks.
That's something I'm not proud of, Joe. You know, that we didn't float this boat yet.
Das Boat 3 has been our biggest undertaking yet.
Where's that ratchet?
And over the course of the next, 10 hours, we did everything from adding a new trailer winch to running the electronics to hooking up a transducer to building a new battery box.
Oh! If I get my hand stuck in here, I'm gonna be logging a lot of boat hours.
We just drive around with you there. Is anybody good at this?
The caulking?
Yeah.
I know, you probably can't see through that fog in front of you. It's getting thick.
Slim would be a good nickname for you.
Really, why is that?
Just because, you think of, country guy Slim, you know, and you're a trim guy.
Nobody knows a country guy named Slim. Now it's all Slim Shady.
Slim Pinky, that's the name.
Slim Pinky.
You know what I want on my tombstone?
We should make it float before we try to go fishing in the morning. So,
So does that mean floating it tonight?
yeah, right now, we drive down a ramp at the end of the block, and hopefully it floats and drives good. If you pull out and it sinks, and you see a blue Ford pickup driving away, do
Then we
not
know.
follow me. Keep going, trim that motor up. There you go. Okay,
Just an observation, Frank. Water is pouring in those scuppers, dude.
when you're angled like that, right? Or now?
Now, right now.
Come on, come on. Get that trailer back here, Cal.
Fuck. Fuck.
What's a scupper?
Dude, the ass end's too heavy. It's just fucking water pouring in.
We just put plugs in there.
So here's the thing. These older boats have beautiful lines and solid bones, but they weren't built for modern, heavy four-stroke outboards. In hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have gone with a 150 horsepower, but it's fine. Kind of. We can stuff some $3 plugs from Walmart into the scupper holes, and then it'll be someone else's problem later in the season.
Let me have my lighter.
Now that she's riding dirty, we can stop thinking about boat repairs and start focusing on why I'm so pumped to have Cal on my home turf.
You know, it's weird, man. You know, we're here fixing up an old boat to take striper fishing. Looking out at Barnegat Bay, I spent a lot of time out there looking at all these boats moving around. But really, what got me into stripers, what got me into this fish, was not playing on this side where all the boats are launching. Other side of the barrier, oceanfront, surf fishing. It sort of speaks to what makes these fish so great and why people are so into them, because a 50-pound fish, 40-pound fish is really just as attainable to a guy with a cheap 10-foot surf rod and a bucket of cut bait as it is a guy with a $200,000 boat and all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's an accessible fish in a lot of ways. So a wide variety of folks can get an appreciation for them.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, the stage is kind of set, right? We have our vessel. It's not ultra pretty. We have a strong motor, brand new motor.
Yep.
We're going to be able to access where the fish are. Whether we catch them or not remains to be seen, and whether or not you're going to eat one.
The bottom line is, man, if you're gonna do DOS boat in the Northeast, it has to start with stripers.
When you're chasing one of the most popular fish in the country, right next to the largest urban center in the U.S., you need to start early. While Cal grabs a selfie to post with #striperfishing, I motor us out into Raritan Bay. This is where the Raritan River and Hudson Rivers drain, and it's all part of the greater New York Bight. Despite their urban character, many of the world's striped bass spawn in these rivers, and thousands of fish stage in this bay, chewing their faces off before running upstream to get busy.
What's telling you to fish or not to fish?
All these meatballs, meatball, there's a meatball, it's a little bait on the bottom. So let's do it. Bunk's right out front here.
Consistently catching stripers requires the ability to change spots and tactics.
So we got bait, so we can play a little snag and drop, and that right there is one of the most important bait fish in the entire Northeast. If we got a chance to fish live, we may as well.
I like it.
So up here, we call that a bunka. Down south, pogie, but the real name, Menhaden is the real name, but you can't say that around here. It's always just bunka.
Snagging bunker with a weighted treble hook is quick and effective, but thanks to some recent rule changes designed to protect stripers, it comes with some very specific rules. Traditionally, anglers would snag a bunker, open the spool, and let the weighted hook take the bait down below the school. Nowadays, while you can still use the treble to snag your bait, you've got to reel it in and send it back out on a circle hook.
In all honesty, it's also a really effective hook for what we're doing because these baits are so big, right? When your bunker gets smacked, you don't know if it's a 50-pounder that just inhaled the whole thing or if it's a 26-incher that's gonna take some time to eat a bait that big, right? Conservation aside, rules aside, these have always been particularly effective for this kind of live bait fishing. So my preference, I like the hook fairly shallow across the back, right in front of the dorsal fin like that.
Man, I just can't help but think it's
Sucks to be a bunker.
Tough living on that side of the food chain, yeah.
When I was a kid growing up in the 90s, there were hardly any stripers here. By then, they had been nearly decimated by overfishing, and to me, they were something mythic, something I hoped to catch someday. By the early 2000s, the population had bounced back so strong that nobody, including myself, ever thought we'd see a collapse again. We were wrong. And this latest downward trend has the potential to cripple not only passionate anglers, but the thousands of local businesses and charter captains that rely on a strong striper population to pay the bills. I've made the personal decision to stop killing striped bass, but Cal has every right to keep one if he lands one. And we're giving these fish full court press, chucking plugs, rubber shads, and jigging spoons while always keeping a live bunker soaking. And those live bunker are drawing strikes, just not from striped bass.
Get you again?
This is the most consistent thing that happens to me with the old live bait setup.
Yeah, so clearly we got some bluefish mixed in, which I'd love to catch because they're a ton of fun. But yeah, it's crazy they do this surgically. It's just, this fish is still breathing.
He doesn't know he's dead.
Sometimes they'll do this where that's all you'll get. They won't come back for the head after they chop it. It's like they know where the hook is. So I'm gonna put on a popper, and I think we should go maybe in a little shallower. I'd love to get into some bluefish, but so far, this is all we've gotten out of them, just a single surgical chomp. Did you want this, or?
I think I'm done with that fella. Yeah, he's just half the man he used to be anyway.
It's funny, man. A lot of people, when they're striper fishing, they don't want this. Like, this is something that gets in the way.
Yep.
But they fight a lot of times a lot harder than striped bass do.
Oh, and that's funny.
When I was a kid growing up, all summer long, every party boat down here ran for these at night. And we just don't have the blue fishery that we used to. We're not talking about that as much as the striper fishery because these are not the same economic driver.
Bluefish have problems too. Matter of fact, good blue fishing has been much harder to find over the last 5 or 6 years than good striper fishing, but because blues aren't quite as desirable on the table, not as many people are all concerned about what the hell happened to the bluefish. Not only are blues a blast to catch, but if you ask me, their value on the table is debatable and a matter of opinion.
So if you want, man, we can box this fish because one thing about these, one reason why they're not as coveted as stripers, they're an oilier fish.
Yep.
But if you're gonna eat one, man, this is the size. Like, you don't wanna eat the 15-pound Goliath because that bloodline running along here is just thicker and nastier. But this is a really good eating size blue.
Great.
So look, I'm glad we have a bluefish in the box and all, but we're out here for stripers, and I'm starting to get pretty pissed off that we haven't stuck one yet. What I think we need is a tide change and some lower light to get them on the chew. It doesn't take too long, thank God, for our patience to pay off and that screen to get lit.
It's gone under the boat.
The school we stopped on was tight, and it ended up being jigging spoons and rubber shads that finally made the play.
We're about to get jacked up double time here. Nice. Ooh, there we go.
Double it up.
That's what I've been waiting for.
What are you feeling there?
Good fish. I mean, it's also a very light rod, but dude, that live bunker was getting chased around and chased around. I couldn't take it anymore. I just threw the shad behind it, and he smoked it.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Good one?
That's a netter. I don't want to flip that one.
Okay.
Not long, but fatty. Ready?
Yep.
Head first in the bag. Yes.
Ooh, yeah. Nice.
That was fun. Dude, on the light stuff,
Oh, yeah.
that was fun. That's what it's all about.
Heck yeah. Got it?
Waiting and waiting for that shad bite. Awesome.
This is a fine striper, thick and healthy, but at 26 inches, we couldn't keep it if we wanted to. Presently, in New Jersey, anglers can keep one bass per day between 28 and 38 inches, which means nobody can hang a 40-plus pound trophy at the dock anymore. It's a great start, but even with the strict regs, the population is still falling. Had this been a keeper, I'd have let Cal make his own decision about what to do with it. I mean, that blood could be on his hands. Really though, I'm just happy he got the chance to tie into a few of these fish. But to really understand the allure of stripers, you have to see a bass flush the toilet on a surface popper.
Oh, that's so much fun. Top water is so much fun. Oh, striper.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Nicer striper.
Nicer striper.
Sweet.
Okay, good. That's the way to do it.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
threw
buddy.
the bail open on that. Not in?
26.
26er.
Too shy. 2 inches shy.
Oh,
She's got to go back.
that is a healthy fish. This is exactly what I wanted. Striper on a popper.
Awesome.
If I had to draw it up.
Awesome.
Healthy fish. Yes!
So hey, we survived. Sure, we took more water than we wanted over the transom thanks to that whole low riding situation. And yeah, we never managed to land a truly big striper, but all in all, I think Das Boat crushed it. We left Keyport happy with our catch and proud of our boat, which we hauled back to Frank Crescitelli's place to give our boatman a report about his baby while also borrowing his deck end fillet table.
If I know Frank like I think I do, he's gonna invite us right in.
For tea and strumpets. How goes it?
Frank,
Yeah, hey, what's up?
got a
Hey.
surprise for you.
Yeah, we got you fish. You hungry?
I'm always hungry.
Come on, let's go cook this thing up.
Really?
Lots to talk about. Get you up to speed.
All right.
The key to eating bluefish is freshness, because they really don't freeze worth a shit. And while there's no secret to filleting them, there is one little trick to keep in mind.
On the backside, we talked about that bloodline on the water. So for a fish this size, you could probably get away with not cutting that off.
And that bloodline's this.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's small, and maybe it doesn't, you don't get the point as much with a little one, but if it was a big one.
If it was a big one, yeah. I don't know. I always avoided eating those big ones, but it's got a fairly thick bloodline. That'll get a little funky on you.
We're gonna cook these fillets 2 ways, both simple and what I'd call classic Northeast preparations. A sprinkling of Old Bay seasoning and marinated in cheap wishbone Italian dressing. Now, captains across the region love to share the wishbone trick like it's some juicy secret, but I mean, it's not.
That's no problem. Let's plate this.
Calling those done, yeah.
Well, that is a gentle fish, too.
Yeah.
For a hard fighting fish, that is a gentle meat.
This is pretty normal for them to come apart on you like
Yeah.
that.
Unlike the Old Bay fish that we sauteed in butter, the wishbone serves as the marinade and the oil. And while it's sort of a lazy approach to fish cookery, it's a great way to add some zing that counterbalances stronger flavored fish like bluefish. And it's also great when you're just short on time, or perhaps don't give a shit.
Joe made you a special treat there.
Zesty Italian cheek, that's the best plate right there.
It is.
The cheeks.
Totally honest opinion, straight up.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna compare here to the Old Bay.
He's taking both cheeks.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
No, go right ahead.
Let me guess. I'm an Old Bay man.
There you go.
Okay, the fish is, I think, very tasty. I honestly think that I was skeptical of the flesh, right? Because I tried to clear some off the cutting board and it was a little pasty, a little tacky,
Yeah.
which isn't always the sign of like, oh, I can't wait to eat this.
Yep.
But it's like a very nice consistency. I think it's very good. Serve it to anybody.
So, hey, there's another bluefish fan. And believe me, there aren't as many around here these days as there used to be. A blue this size, well cared for and cooked fresh, may not be halibut or lingcod, but it's damn good. Not unlike Das Boat herself.
Joe explained the Mako to me as like a working man's boat.
Right.
And that is very much what it is. It doesn't look great. We came by it relatively cheap. It's been misused, and it will function awesome. It is a great foundation. It's a great platform, but it wants some work as well.
We got a note on our windshield this morning from a random person that wants to buy it. He's been looking for that exact Mako,
Really?
apparently. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we talked about from the beginning, right? These boats have this lure, this whole mystique about them, about, being an old Mako, an old whatever, Aquasport. And there's a reason.
A couple of things you should consider, though. Boat's great. Love the boat. Trailer, that's probably gonna need some work before it long hauls any further.
The bilge is the only way to get water out of the boat,
Right.
and there's no access to the bilge for the water to get to it.
Well, it sounds like I got my work cut out for me. Whenever somebody says you got a couple of things to do, that means I got my work cut out for me.
The boat came through this beautifully. The trailer, on the other hand, well, look, let's just say it's not our problem anymore, right? We got the fuck out of there because Cal had a plane to catch, and I'm not certified in aluminum welding.
What the fuck? You fucked up the trailer and they leave me a bluefish. Perfect.
On the next episode of Das Boat, well, she's not going very far. She's staying right here at Frank's in Long Beach Island. And MeatEater's own chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois is coming to town to work his magic
We got no tool.
on the clams, crabs, fluke, and other bounties of New Jersey's iconic Barnegat Bay, while exploring the hopeful outlook on the mysteriously low weakfish population.
There he is.